Alright, so I've used Chili Crunch in a few episodes already and figured now's as good a time as any to show you how to make this ridiculously good condiment. While Chinese in origin, I of course make mine Korean style, which ends up being a bit milder in heat and a lot heavier in flavor. And since I like you so much, I'm even gonna throw in a quick and easy lamb dumpling recipe, so you have something to drown in that delicious chili crunch. The chili crunch itself is super simple to make. We're gonna start by chopping up some green onion. This is a Korean green onion, and it's roughly a million times bigger than normal, but it works out to about the same as a small bunch. We're also gonna need a few slices of ginger and some garlic cloves, as well as a good sized shallot cut in half, and that's literally it for the prep. So chili crunch consists of two parts, a flavor-packed oil and the chilies. I'm using about a liter's worth of canola oil in a heavy bottom pot. You want a neutral oil for this, so the flavors stand out. Peanut and vegetable oil work too. On top of those, we'll be using some aromatics in the form of cinnamon sticks, bay leaves, star anise, cardamom seeds, and Szechuan peppercorns. Add everything to the pot and place over low heat for about 2 hours. For the chilies, I'm using Korean Gochugaru. Full disclosure, I am using a mild one, so it does have some heat, it's just not overwhelming. I'm also using a little bit of red chili flakes since I do want a little bit of sharp heat in there. You're going to want to use a heat-safe bowl for this, as we'll be adding the hot oil directly into it. Periodically give the oil a stir, and once the garlic starts to turn nutty brown, remove them. They'll just get bitter and burnt after this point. Continue cooking on low until the vegetables are deeply colored, but not burnt. Scoop out any of the large pieces using a spider or slotted spoon, then pour the hot oil through a sieve or cheesecloth directly onto the chilies. Give it a good stir to make sure all of the chilies are coated in the oil, then set aside and allow to cool. While that's cooling, let's make some dumplings. I've got a pound of ground lamb. This recipe is really simple and you can substitute pork, chicken, beef, or whatever your heart desires for the lamb. You do you. To that, I'm adding a good amount of minced garlic and some ginger, along with 2 to 3 green onions or about a quarter of this Korean one. It doesn't need to be minced, just thinly sliced. Season with a generous amount of kosher salt and some freshly cracked black pepper. Last but not least, a spoonful of butter. The butter will add some moisture to the very lean lamb, as well as some richness. And according to a Harvard University study, butter makes things better. So science. Give everything a good mix, making sure the butter is fully incorporated. For the wrappers, I'm using these ones I picked up at my local Korean grocer. I'm sure I'll do a video at some point on how to make these, but for now let's just stick with these. You can also use more widely available wonton wrappers if you can't get any. Whatever you decide to put the dumplings on, give it a good dusting of cornstarch to prevent sticking. You're also going to want a bowl of water. There are an infinite amount of ways to shape and wrap dumplings, but I'll show you 4 pretty common ones. Spoon the lamb mix into the center, making sure to leave enough room around to work the wrapper. Dip your finger in the water and wet the outer edge. Fold in half and seal the edges. This is the simplest way of doing them. For the next one, repeat the exact same steps as the first one, but this time push the bottom in and stretch the ends around until they meet. Add a dab of water and seal tight. The shape is really good if you want dumplings in your soup. This next one is probably one of the most common ones you'll see. Spoon the filling in the center and wet the edges. Then pinch the middle closed, leaving 2 openings on either end. Fold over the wrapper closest to the initial seal and press to seal it. Then repeat 2 more times until the end is fully sealed. Repeat on the opposite side. I've never been able to make this last one look pretty, but who cares? I don't, do you? They still taste damn good, and that's all that matters, so don't worry about being perfect. Filling in the middle and wet the edges. Then pinch one end closed, push forward, and fold over the wrapper on one side. Then the other. Repeat until it's fully sealed. You can boil these or use a steamer, but my favorite way is to heat a cast iron pan on medium-low heat with a good amount of canola oil. Place the dumplings in the center and allow them to cook for 2 to 3 minutes. By now, the chili crunch should be cool enough to bottle. I use mason jars since I always have a ton on hand. This stuff will last a long time as long as it's sealed and kept in a cool, dry place. Small mason jars full of chili crunch make a great gift too. Once the dumplings have this sexy golden brown crust on the bottom, add a bit of water to the pan and cover with a lid and allow them to steam for 5 or 6 minutes, or until they're nice and firm. Then it's simply a matter of busting out your fanciest plate, placing those plump little dumplings in the center, and dousing them in chili crunch. And that's it! Chili crunch with butter lamb dumplings. But chili crunch isn't just for dumplings. It's great over fried eggs, add some kick to tuna salad, spices up pasta and noodles, hell, you could even pour some on a banana. And yes, that tasted about as bad as you would expect. The things I do for you. I could probably eat a dozen or more of these, they're that good. And I encourage you to try chili crunch on everything. It seriously goes with so many things, with of course the exception maybe of bananas. If you like my channel and are interested in supporting it, you can check out my Ko-fi page. I'll leave a link in the description. Thanks for watching, and stay awesome.